Okay, so here is lesson A-6, and this is on page 16 of the packet. And we're gonna do more algebraic manipulation, but this is the conjugate method. Okay, so just a little review here. Multiplying conjugates. So every binomial has a conjugate. All right, so here's a binomial, A plus B, okay? Or A minus B. Now, to get the conjugate, you just change the middle sign. All right, so these are conjugates. This is a conjugate pair, is what they're called. And whenever you're multiplying conjugates, the result is always going to be A squared minus B squared. It's basically difference of two squares in reverse. All right, when you multiply conjugates, you get a difference of two squares. Okay, so we're going to use that idea. Alrighty, so here's this example. So the limit as x approaches 9 of this fraction here. Okay, first step always is direct substitution. So I already see I'm getting 0 in the bottom. So I want to see if I also get it on top. And you could do this part in your head. So 3 minus radical 9 over 0. That is 0 over 0, check. Okay, so algebraic manipulation. And if you end up with 0 over 0 and you're able to do algebraic manipulation, and you see a binomial that involves a radical, you can try to multiply by the conjugate of that binomial. All right, so here we go. So this is going to be equal to the limit as x approaches 9, and I'm going to need a lot of room. Okay, so let me just write the original stuff there. All right, now these are both binomials, but you want to look at the one that has a radical involved, has one of its terms are under a radical, and that would be the top one. So you take this binomial that has this radical term, and you multiply it by its conjugate. And you do that, you have to do that in the top and the bottom. Okay. Now the bottom is going to stay as it is. Right? We want to keep everything factored. All right, so you don't want to distribute. So 9 minus x plus radical x. Okay, because we are hoping, if you look, guys, at this bottom here, which of these factors is making the denominator 0 when we plug 9 in? It's this one. So I'm hoping that this will cancel. I want to get a matching binomial up there. All right. Now in the top, we're multiplying conjugates. So what you end up with is 3 squared minus square root of x squared in the top. Because if you multiply these two conjugates, it's just going to be a squared minus b squared. And this is 9 minus x. Okay, so the top is 9 minus x. All right, so those do end up canceling. And so on the top, x approaches 9. Okay. And now I can direct substitute. So 1 over 3 plus. Okay, so there's that one. Now this next one. All right, so try to plug 5 in. We're getting 0 on top. And I plug it into the bottom, and I'm getting 2 minus square root of 4. Okay, so that is 0 over 0, so check. And you do not have to show that. But just make sure it's 0 over 0. Alrighty, now I see the top is a binomial, and in the bottom, I see a binomial under the radical, but this denominator is also a binomial. So it's 2 minus, and then the radical term. So, and it has a radical, so I can try multiplying by the conjugate of the bottom this time. X minus 5, 2 minus radical x minus 1. Okay, and so I look at the binomial that involves a radical, this one, so I'll multiply it by its conjugate. Okay, so now this time the top is going to stay. Over. Okay, now the bottom, when you multiply two conjugates, in this case, we're going to end up getting, so we have 2 squared minus square root of x minus 1 squared. Okay, so this is 4 minus, now the radical cancels, but I need to distribute the negative. So I need parentheses if I don't distribute it in my head. So 4 minus x plus 5 minus x. Okay. All right, so the bottom ends up being 5 minus x. Okay, which is great because, so x minus 5 and 5 minus x, those cancel, you know, because you could flip this around. So this is the same as negative 1, x minus 5. All right, so these are going to cancel to make a negative 1, not a positive 1. So they cancel. I'm going to put the negative 1 up top. And then in the next line, you don't need to, but I'm going to distribute the negative 1. That will allow me to use less parentheses if I distribute it. Okay, so our denominator, so negative 2 minus radical x plus 1. Okay, and now I can direct substitute. So negative 2 minus square root of 4, because 5, wait, minus, that's a minus. Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm so sorry. This was minus. That was a minus the whole time. Yeah. All right, those are minuses. My bad. Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right. Okay, yeah, so because I knew it had to be 4. So you plug 5 in for x, and you end up with that. Negative 2 minus 2, negative 4. Okay.